Welcome to day 11 with the Meeples Champion. Yesterday we went over a little bit on Citadels, a nice small game. Today we're going to be going over a game that's a little bit longer, but very fun. Definitely a little bit more on the older side I'd recommend. I think that younger kids could get a little lost. It's a lot more number based. But today we're going to be going over Role Player. Now, I picked up Role Player this past year. It was one of my best 2021 grabs. I had it in a big bundle of stuff I requested for Christmas, and it did not disappoint. I had heard about it for many years. I decided, hey, let's take a shot. I know a lot of people, were in my group were playing this. I was the one that brought it out, so unfortunately I didn't get to play it until I owned it. But I played it with my wife a couple times, played it with some friends. We really enjoyed this game. Now, the art is fantastic. I mean, even just looking at these instruction booklets, it's really nice art. Obviously, the whole point of this game is to be bringing D&D to life. But you're not doing it by playing a D&D campaign. You're doing it by preparing for the campaign. A really cool concept that I think a lot of people, when they hear it, maybe don't completely understand it. I myself am not a D&D player. I gave it a shot once in high school. I went and did a club of it. It was fine, just wasn't particularly my style. It took me many years to find my style when it came to gaming. But I like the concept of it, and I encourage people who do enjoy that kind of thing to go and give it a shot. This game brought to me some of the stuff that I wished I had. If we were all worth millions of dollars, or at least enough money, we could buy all the pieces and the setups and make it a real experience. I like the board, I like the pieces. That's why D&D doesn't do it for me. If I'm going to be using my imagination, I prefer to do it by writing or reading. I don't like to do it by sitting and having a story told to me and walking through the world. Just my personal opinion. This game, though, breaks down into that character sheet. How are you going to build up your character? How are you going to go through and really put together your entire character's basis of how they work? So, main idea is that you're going to get a character sheet. Your character sheet is going to have a load of information on it. But the important piece is this. These pieces right here. Empty spots, waiting for you to roll dice and see what you can fill in. Now, the way the game runs is that you'll roll the dice and place those onto the cards that are available in the market that turn. Depending on the high and the lows of the cards, they shift. And then, starting with the player that ends up picking first and gets a die. So, okay, I got the 1. Well, now I'm going to be picking in the third position potentially. Basically, you get your dice, you place them on here, and then you get to pick a card, and you have to pay for it. Now, what's difficult is that you're going to get a class card, you're going to get a backstory card, you're going to get an alignment card. These 3 cards already are going to be giving you specific things you're trying to achieve for victory points. So you might find that when you're going for strength, oh, well, it would be great if I was very powerful. However, my class says I really want to keep my strength low. I'm not supposed to be high. Depending on your character, they may not really work to their full best of their class and race combination if they're a high strength. So you're now trying to keep it low. At the same time, you're trying to see what color dice you get on there, because that's going to work with your backstory and help figure out, okay, I need to have a particular color dice in different spots. Every time I do that, I'm going to score the die. I'm also trying to make sure that my alignment ends up in the right spot, because if it does, I get a good plus, but if it doesn't, I get either nothing or I could get a negative if it's in a bad spot. There's a lot of moving pieces to this. The cards that are coming into the game, you're getting your different type of your traits, your weapons, your armor, you're getting skills in here. These things are being added to your guys. They're also giving you either points themselves or point scoring abilities, which then also jumps back into these attributes. So you may find that, yes, if I can hit everything in my class, it's going to line up and I might get, 20 points. However, now I got 3 cards below that say, hey, you could sacrifice 6 of those points, do what we're asking for instead, and turn those 6 points into like 9 or 10 points down here, so it's a 4-point net for you. Okay, it's all about the math, and that's where this is tough on kids. That's not to say don't give a kid a shot at it. It's a great theme. The theme is oozing. It's D&D through and through. But on top of that, if a kid gets brought into this and they're showing interest, don't be afraid to let a 5 or 6-year-old sit down and take a shot, because it might be the kind of game that, because of its art and because of its theme, the kid gets really excited and wants to play, and all of a sudden you as a parent go, wow, they're starting to pick up their numbers really good now. They're figuring out how to do not only the addition and the subtraction, but they're figuring out how to balance it and figure out how to do something down here, something up there, using numbers in different spots. It could be a really good tool for the kids who really get brought in and think, this is the game I want to play. That being said, normally speaking, I would not recommend that you bring kids in for this game. I think this is a game more for, over 10 years old, maybe even a little older than that. I believe the game says, well, somewhere on there, it says its recommended age. Yeah, so you're looking at this being 10 plus. That's a recommendation. 10 plus lines up for what I think. But again, know your kids, know your kids' friends, and figure it out. I mean, maybe this is just a good game for them. Overall, I'd say the components are amazing. The art is amazing. The theme is amazing. The roads to victory, there's a lot of them. So you're going to have opportunities to get in there and play this differently than each other and still have a way to compete, so long as you're not just ignoring what everybody else is doing and yourself and you don't really see where the points are adding up. I think that the uniqueness of the game, it's not that it necessarily does something that's never been done before. Rolling and scoring based on combinations is something you've seen as far back as just Yahtzee. But the way that it does it to make it feel like you're preparing for a D&D game, that is extremely unique. And I don't know of any other game that really does it like this does. I know Role Player has had a lot of expansions come out. I've got the Monsters expansion. I haven't had a chance to really activate that yet. It's the next one up on my docket for expansions to try out. But I know it has a few different types of expansions, including its own adventure game, meaning that you play this game first, you prep your players, and when you're done, you now go and you play a huge role player adventure, essentially playing a D&D game. The fun piece being you don't need to have a dungeon master. You have it all pre-prepared. It's all got its booklets and its pieces all set up for you, and you play through it. I personally probably will never get it. It's very expensive. I think that comes in at like $100, maybe a little bit more. And it's a co-op game. I like competitive. I want to face the people I'm playing with for the night. I don't often get into co-ops. So it looks amazing. I would have to play with somebody else's version first before I would consider even get it. This is still a bit expensive. I believe this was $60. You can find it definitely in any regular board game store. Most board game stores. Every board game store is a little different. You're not going to find this though in a Target. You're not going to find this in Barnes & Noble. Definitely will find it on Amazon though. So it's going to be an easy find there. For the most part, this is accessible. It's a great game. I would buy the base, I'd give it a try, and then I'd see as to looking into the how-to videos and see what the other ones for the expansions play as, and maybe one of those grab you. I watched 3 different expansions. I found one I thought was good, and I picked it up for me. But definitely would recommend Role Player. Highly recommend to anybody that wants to try this kind of game. I think it's fantastic, and I definitely will be bringing this to my board game night on multiple occasions. So, yet again, you're here on day 11 with the Meeples Champion. Can't wait to talk to you guys tomorrow.